What is up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in today. There's so much talk in the market about, what's going on and that there's a crash and a bubble, and then some people talking about opportunity and lots of talks about interest rates. I'm here to tell you 5 reasons why right now is a great time to buy a home, whether you're in the Denver market or across the country, so stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Jeremy Kane with eXp Realty here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is something that's ever changing in our market, and I have 5 great reasons why you should buy a home right now. If you are a home buyer and you would like a free buyer consultation about buying a home, whether that's now, tomorrow, 10 years from now, please comment below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and we will absolutely reach out and connect, and I will make sure that you get that full consultation so that you can make the right decision for you at the right time. Because regardless of the market and regardless of what's going on in the opportunity or the bubble or whatever, the best time to buy a house is when you are ready. So let's dive in. The first thing is that a lot of home buyers need to use down payment assistance or a low down payment loan. And for the last 2.5 years, especially in our market, those loans have not been getting accepted. So you put a contract in, it was a bidding war, seemed like FHA, VA, or the low conventional down payments were pushed to the back. And it's kind of a sense of security to know someone's putting 20% down, whatever. But the honest truth is those are the buyers that are a little bit more hesitant to continue with the contract when things get tough. But right now there is almost no multiple bid opportunities. Perfect house, price too low. There is still multiple bids on some homes, but for the most part, you're able to look at a home, maybe take a day or two to even think about it and go through it. But the biggest thing is that you're not competing. So if you're a 0% down VA loan, or you need down payment assistance, those offers are being accepted because at the end of the day, money's money. So that is absolutely an opportunity for those who don't own a home to maybe get in, because if you own a home, typically you roll equity over. Typically you're going with more than a 3.5 to 3% down loan there, or even down payment assistance. You won't need that because you can roll the equity over. So that's reason number 1. Next, we're going to talk about something I actually already touched on, but that's the ability to actually consider and make wise decisions. Maybe look at 5 houses and actually have a chance to bid on all 5 of them and even get under contract on them. So the time is just a lot better laid out for buyers right now to actually make a decision. This is a financial decision. It's a huge investment. There is a lot of other benefits to owning a home, but at the end of the day, the financial investment is the biggest piece, and why real estate investment is so powerful is because it's very, standard. We can expect a little bit of appreciation most of the time. We have seen some downturns in the past, but we're far from those. We're in a really still limited supply, and demand's going to keep coming. So that little extra time to actually make a thoughtful decision, maybe actually visualize yourself in the home, what you do, what you need, what you don't need, and the ability to get into a home that has everything you need is a little more realistic than it was 3 to 4 to 6 months ago or over the last 2 years. The next thing is we have been waiving a lot of inspections lately over the past 2.5 years in the crazy bidding wars. That's the first thing that people are like, well, I'll just take it as is. I'm not going to, object to anything. Still always 100% get an inspection done by a professional so that you know what's going on at the very least. But the right to object was definitely something that was taken out of a lot of contracts over the last 2 years, the competitive cycle. So now what we're seeing is actually having the chance to say, hey, the water heater's 20 years old, could you replace it? Or, can we get a concession? Sellers are more willing to pay a seller concession to help with that cash out of pocket on the buy end, especially with loans. So that's something to consider, but really that inspection objection, and it's crazy because we had appraisal gaps, we had all this stuff, but I've always been of the opinion that you don't want to spend every single last dime of your savings account getting into a home, because inevitably things break in homes. And so you want to make sure you have that inspection, but the chance to object and maybe move into something that's not going to be an instant, out-of-pocket expense, whether that's, an aging furnace or an aging water heater, or maybe a window needs replaced or whatever. These things are being considered more because of the market and the lack of, multiple offers and people, scratching and clawing to do anything they can to get into that home. So that's a huge advantage, and something that gives me a little more security being an agent is some of those inspection waivers and inspection, things that were going on, whether I was the listing agent or the buyer's agent, make you a little nervous because you always want to present a great product and you always want things to work out for the best. The next is all of this creative financing. I've talked a little bit about down payment, but now we have 2-1 buy downs and we have piggyback loans where, you can get a down payment assistance loan for the down payment, and then you can get 2 other products that'll help you pay for closing costs and prepaids. And so these things are really cool. And, as we continue to see this, the sellers don't really care, because at the end of the day, if they're getting a $500,000 bid on their house and you close, they get $500,000. How you get there doesn't really matter. But the fact that there are these, creative financing, and since interest rates went up, this 2-1 buy down thing has come up, and the ability to buy your rate down 2% for the first year and 1% for the second year really allows you to build into your mortgage versus just coming right at it with a higher mortgage rate that has been in the news lately. And so that really plays a role, is having all these creative financing, and obviously the seller willing to do a concession and pay for that buy down is something that can vastly affect your mortgage payment as a buyer, where their net is the same, but lowering the purchase price, say $10,000, is not going to do much to your payment. But giving you a $10,000 concession using a 2-1 buy down is absolutely going to have a massive effect on your payment for year one, and then minor effect, a 1% effect for year 2, and then by year 3 you're ready, it's coming, and you're in that par rate. So it's not anything crazy, but just that ability to have concessions and get into things. And if that's the case, you're buying an older house, maybe you don't do a 2-1 buy down, but they just pay your closing costs, $5,000 to $7,000 here in our market right now. They pay that, and you're able to keep your $5,000 to $7,000 for emergencies or cash on hand. And so that's really cool that these creative financing pieces and the ability for the seller to give a concession because of lack of competition is back in play, and really a benefit for buyers and helping all people become homeowners. Next, we are not so sped up, right? So, the longer term, we're not seeing like 17-day closes unless we want to. The post-closing occupancies, which were, leading people to almost pay double rent, or, that when you first get a mortgage, you don't have to pay a payment until the month you buy is over, and then the next month is over. So it's the following month end is when your next payment's due. So the ability to not have to waste that time by letting someone stay in it sometimes for free with a post-closing occupancy is huge. So all of these things combined are great incentives to buy, and they're all focused on right now. However, let's talk about the longevity of real estate. Right now in Colorado, the market's shifting a little bit. It's just different. As I've talked about, we're still going to see an over double-digit appreciation in our market for this year, 2022. So homes are still appreciating. They're just not appreciating at 20%. You're not getting your down payment back in 1 year in equity. So that's something that is more healthy for the market, but also something that we can kind of look to. And even if you bought a house in 2006, worst real estate crash ever, caused by bad lending practices, caused by the real estate market, as we head into this maybe recession that is not real estate specific, you will see a minor appreciation as we go, a more healthy appreciation, maybe an average appreciation. But the honest truth is, if it's just stays the same, it's just almost a forced savings account. Your principal buy down, you have a house, you're not paying rent, you're not throwing money away, and you're not paying someone else's mortgage or towards someone else's wealth. You're building your wealth and building that security. And it'll bounce back up. And I don't predict that the housing prices will go down. Everyone kind of feels that with the recession, and it's usually home prices go up during recession. So I'm considering that. but it's just about perspective. We're just not gaining, six figures. We're not gaining more money than the average person makes in a single year in equity in a single year anymore, which is much better and gives more opportunity to the buyer. But what I tell everyone is make sure that you can rent your house out for your mortgage if you want to move across the country, or, you get another job somewhere else, because you don't want to sell in that downtime. Right? If you can avoid selling in, maybe it's just a 5% correction or whatever it comes to be, you just don't sell during that time and we're good. Real estate investment is long-term. So that's my scoop for today. Those 5 incentives will help you right now, but long-term, I promise you'll be happy. So thanks for tuning in. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you do comment and you would like a free buyer consultation, I will absolutely get in contact with you and we can see what the right time and situation is for you to buy a home on your terms. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.